What is going on, everybody? It is NBA season, and we got a super team in the making. We got the clash of the 1 and 2 seed out in the East coming up, and it is a tight race heading into the playoffs. And March Madness is right around the corner. Let's get it. Happy Monday, spectators. What is going on? We're happy to be back with you again. I'm Julian. As always, I'm here with my boy Brooklyn. What's going on, brother?
Yo, how you doing, bro?
Dude, it's another week. It's been a great week of sports, a great week for basketball, and it's the most basketball I've watched in like a specific week in a long, long time because that's all we got now. We got no progress on the MLB. We are months away from NFL season, sadly. So this is a basketball season. Although I don't know if you've been watching any of it, college baseball has been kind of lit this year.
I haven't hit up any college baseball yet.
I'm telling you, if you guys get the chance, watch this Texas team. They are so fun. They are so fun. So if you're longing for baseball, the void is actually properly being filled. There's also a guy to watch out for in Tennessee who's throwing 103 miles an hour. So if you like prospects and you like dudes who do throw things hard, go watch a Tennessee game.
That's your guy.
Go watch a Tennessee game. It's cool to see the void being filled. But yeah, it's NBA season. It is that time of the year, post All-Star break, the last real third of the season. The dog days are over. This is the final stretch. There's about 20 or so games left, I believe. And the picture is not any clearer. It's usually getting kind of clear by this point. It is not at all. The only team, and granted, they're the earliest team I think ever, but the only team to clinch a playoff spot is the Phoenix Suns. They've clinched a play-in spot, so they're at least the 10 seed. So I don't know if you consider that a playoff spot or not, but they have clinched some semblance of postseason basketball. And if there's anything we know about the Suns, that you don't want to see them in a play-in. Bubble Suns go crazy.
I saw a stupid record, and I don't know the number off the top of my head because I saw it about like 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
But the Suns' record from the bubble to now
I saw that too. It's crazy.
Insane.
It was like 120 and like 36. It was something.
Yeah, it was stupid.
It was something really actually stupid. Dumb. And dude, the Suns, they're proving that. I remember the bubble happened, and there's footage of this. Like, I'm on record for being a big dumb idiot. The Suns popped off in the bubble, and this is before they had Chris Paul, right? They didn't have Chris Paul yet. So that's, there's credit to me. They didn't have Chris Paul yet. They popped off in the bubble, and I think you and we had a guest on talked about how the Suns could keep this going. I'm like,
yep.
But why? And then they get Chris Paul, and now, Book doesn't have to be the best player on the team, even though he is half the time. And the Suns have been phenomenal since. They've been to a finals. They've got second in the West last year. They're probably going to get first in the West this year, especially with the way the Warriors have kind of been on and off after like Christmas time.
Yeah, that's a take I'm happy about. But when you see a young team who just hasn't had any success get that instant success of going 8-0 in a really unprecedented environment as the bubble, and took down some big teams and in some big games.
Still didn't get in either.
Still didn't get in. They did everything they possibly could.
You think if they got
hungry.
You think if they got in, this wouldn't be happening? I think so.
I fully believe that none of this happens if they get in.
Yeah.
The origin story is that fact that they go 8-0. They did everything they could do, and it wasn't good enough. That's what made the Suns be what the Suns are today. Well, they get into the playoffs. Phoenix isn't even top 5 in the league right now. Yeah, Chris Paul doesn't even go there.
I think he still might go there, but I definitely agree. Like,
yeah,
it's honestly like a movie type of writing where the guy It's the classic rom-com. If you guys know me, you know I love my rom-coms, right?
Big rom-com
It's
fan.
the classic, like, nerdy kid did everything he can to try and get the girl to like him, but she just liked the bad boy. It didn't matter what he did. And next year, he came back ripped. He came back beefy. He had a big brain. He slicked his hair back. He looks exactly the same because it's a movie, and the guys are already hot in there for no reason anyway. They got these nerdy guys that are 9 out of 10. It's just stupid. But now he comes back, and now she's like, oh my God. And now they ride off into the sunset together, you know.
That's it.
And it's that. It was the origin story. It was the first movie of the rom-com. And now we're at movie number 2. And are they good enough to not just get the girl, but ask her out to prom and get her to prom? Because they've been to prom now, but they went with a different girl.
Yeah, this is movie number 3. This is the trilogy,
They need to win it. They need to win it.
You had the prequel. The sequel was nice. Yeah. Really, really nice. Now
it was unexpected too. Like
now here we are in the trilogy. So what happens? What do the Phoenix Suns make? It's yet to be seen. But they're in a good spot.
They're in a great spot. They're playing great basketball. They are on a 2-game losing streak. I do expect them to lose a good amount of games coming forward. No Chris Paul for I think about 6 weeks is really tough. Classic Chris Paul. Classic. I think it was 6 weeks. I'm not exactly sure on his timeline. He still played in the All-Star game too, so I don't really know what's happening there. But he has a hand injury, a right hand injury too, which is the important. Which is tough. Hand. Yeah, that's the important hand. So keep that in mind. I don't know. That injury is gonna be very important because if he's healthy, I think they're clearly the favorite, right? But no Chris Paul, I don't like it at all.
Yeah.
Like at all.
And I would say a good thing for them that they have a 6-game lead over the Warriors. But I mean, being the 1 seed or 2 seed doesn't matter really matter
at all.
Unless the Lakers continue. Well, yeah, but unless the Lakers are gonna continue the slide that they're on and just float around the 8 seed and then or 8 or 7 seed and then that's who you gotta face.
No, the Lakers are terrible. I don't care if they're your 8 seed. They played them last year. They played them last year, and the Suns handled them.
They did.
Handled them. That'll happen again. If they play the Suns again, they're gonna get handled. Now, like a team that I'd be scared for, like, to play the Lakers if the Lakers make it, which they're not. Let's just throw it out there. Lakers are not making the playoffs. I don't think they do. They'll make the play-in. They're not winning. They're not getting in. If they did, if for whatever reason they did, a team like Memphis would scare me against the Lakers just because they're so young that I feel like LeBron would just go like 60 a game and just be like, yeah, y'all sit down. Y'all cool. I'll play for y'all in a couple of years when you get Brownie, but y'all sit down. Y'all sit down.
Yeah, they're gonna be high flying, quick. Memphis is gonna be a problem for the Lakers if that happens.
You know why I say the Lakers aren't gonna make the playoffs?
Why?
Because they played the Pelicans last night. And let me tell you. You know how like we'll come on here and be like, that game was must-watch TV. We did that for the entire NFL playoffs, pretty much. Must-watch TV.
I mean that awesome. And it was understandable. It was understandable.
We were not
arguably one of the best NFL playoffs.
We were not capping at all. It was must-watch. And if you weren't watching, then you just don't like football. And that's fair. You're here for the basketball. I get it.
Fine.
This was maybe the worst game of the year. The Lakers had no effort. They were embarrassing. The score was a little bit closer than it should have been. They could have lost this game by 70. Actually, the worst game of the year was when Memphis literally beat the Thunder by like 86. That was obviously the worst game of like all time.
Yeah.
Literally of all time. But this was the Lakers I think are a game and a half ahead of the Pelicans and then lose to them by 30. And then they get CJ. Those pieces are starting to come together. I don't think the Pelicans are any good. The Pelicans are promoting next year's season tickets without Zion on it. Oh my God, they're having a whole mess over there. Did you see? There was a parade right? I think it was literally Mardi Gras. I think it was this weekend. I'm not sure when it was, but there was a parade this weekend in New Orleans, and there was a float, and on one of the floats, they had like a fat Zion painting on the side of it. And it was like a gumbo float, and it had Zion looking like just fat, like a big fat,
just
like
thick,
just straight gluttony, like the embodiment of gluttony. Man. And it was just throwing a lot of shade at him, and I was like, oh, hold on. It was kind of funny.
I didn't see that, but that's hilarious.
Yeah,
that's tough.
Well, and then alongside that, according to JJ Redick too, Zion did not text CJ McCollum when he got traded there.
Yeah. Also, side note, JJ on ESPN has been amazing. But
yeah, if you guys want another podcast to listen to, I think it's like The Old Man and the Three. That's a JJ Redick podcast. Amazing. It's like the Pat McAfee show, kind of, but it has like that kind of vibe, and it's amazing. Good stuff.
But my point is, when JJ was playing with Zion, he was even getting the vibe that like he just wasn't really the type to go out and like welcome or embrace your team, and he was just kind of to himself.
I think the word he used was detached.
Yeah. So you can't have that being the headline name for the franchise.
And I think you're allowed some semblance of that when you're injured, right? Like you're not around the team because you're rehabbing and all that. Like you're allowed a little bit of that, especially with like the way, everybody recovers differently, right? But I mean, you just made a trade because your team's trying to win and build a team around you, and you can't even have the balls to go out. Just text the guy, "Hey, welcome to the NO." Like that's all you gotta say.
Oh, you gotta text him, "Welcome. Let's get it. Let's work." That's
literally that's it.
You don't gotta say nothing else. You don't gotta call. You don't even gotta text back.
I'm healthy.
You don't even gotta text back. Just text it.
He could be like, "Thanks, G," and that's it. Like, that's all you gotta do. It's just, I don't know, just a lot going on with Zion. Big Ben Simmons vibes, if you will. Big Ben Simmons vibes. And maybe it's an us thing. Maybe because I consider us media members to an extent. Like we're not out here. Flaming people pretty publicly, like we could and should. Although I do flame teams from Washington. So if you fall into that category,
we did get Ben Simmons in the playoffs. That was bad.
We also got way off P as well. If you were there for that 2 years ago, we were on that, man.
There has been a spectator Hall of Fame of slander.
Yeah, no, we're known that like if we do slander you, you're getting chewed out.
And it's not often. So if you make it on our slander, be careful.
Ooh, TM that. Yeah. Okay. We're gonna have to work on it a little bit, but I like that. Yeah. Okay. No, but it's really interesting that like, you have a guy like Ben Simmons. He gets slandered. He gets traded. He's still not playing yet.
No.
We'll kind of see how that works. New York sanctions are potentially going to lighten up. Perfect timing just for when the Nets were getting bad enough that they have to play the Cavs and God damn it. So stupid. But so dumb. But, if they can get a little healthy, which that's not an if. They're not going to get healthy. The Nets are not going to get healthy. It won't be. They'll be like the best version that they can. They're not going to be healthy. And we've talked about this in the past, right? Do you think this is the last true year for this team, or are we getting another like
for the Nets?
Yeah, or is like do we get one more and then we can say it's a failure?
I think we get one more.
We get one more
because last year was tough. Everybody falls out towards the end. What can you do about that? Unfortunate. And then obviously the year before, just Kyrie. So there wasn't really any hope there.
Yeah.
But I mean this year, especially with the way things have happened, you haven't had anybody together. KD goes down. Kyrie's 50% now, 0% in the beginning.
Yeah.
Of playing time.
We're at like 17% of Kyrie.
We're at 17 Kyrie. So I think whatever happens this year, because now there's no excuses. You revamp the whole team.
It's handpicked at this point too.
Yeah, you revamp the whole team. Like, without any trades, you have Harden, KD, Kyrie. Whatever happens with that, KD's injured, Kyrie's not playing, Harden's
Hates
Harden.
those two idiots. Like,
yeah, like you can make an argument either which way. Now you make the Harden trade, you get Dragic, you get Drummond, you go get Ben Simmons too. There's no excuse now. Joe Harris comes back eventually. KD comes back. Kyrie potentially has 100% playing time with the vaccine. Yeah. So we'll see what happens.
Or do we? Like if by
I don't think you do.
If come playoff time, KD's healthy, Kyrie's playing most games. Really, those are the only two that matter, right? Like
that's the thing. If the vaccine mandate gets lifted and Kyrie's 100% playing time,
then should be the favorite.
Like if they don't make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, it's a wash. Like you can't get knocked out first round with that.
No,
because then it's just.
Which there's a chance because if they play Philly, the Bulls, or the Heat, they might. In fact, I might take that.
Yeah. And then I do think you put this season as not a complete failure because, again, it's been a wild ride. But I do think a little bit of a failure. And that's coming from a Net fan.
Yeah. Well, and you know, we've said it before.
But I don't think it's a blow-up.
Yeah. But if next season it doesn't work, that's it.
Then it's a complete...
And is that... And, you know, it's hard to say it because that's a whole year and a half away. But if the Nets do not... at the least make it to the finals this year or next year, is it the biggest failure in sports?
Probably. It's up there.
I think it would be like outside of there's a couple like soccer failures that would probably give that a run for its money, I'm sure. But in American sports, it would probably be the biggest failure ever because there's just so much that got put into that and so much.
Because there's been like big name players who get traded or team up and stuff and they don't work out.
It happens.
But this is a sense of you get some of the greatest players in the game today all together.
Literally at worst 3 top 15 players.
Yeah.
And at best 3 top 10 players in the league. If you want to put Kyrie in top 10 or not, I don't care. But
no,
I probably wouldn't.
You could do it either way. So, but yeah.
And 3 Hall of Famers. Or no, it was like what? 7 Hall of Famers who have been on this team.
Yeah.
Because like if you can, I think Paul Millsap might even be a Hall of Famer because the NBA Hall of Fame is so bad. So like
maybe
one of those things.
Tough.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, I think so.
And you know, one of the cool things though is like whenever a team like this is doing poorly, there's always another side to it, right? And the Miami Heat. Do you know what they remind me of? The Miami Heat remind me of every Jazz team that's literally ever been good. Mm-hmm. They have about 3 to 6 good players. There's no true dominant number 1 guy, although they kind of have a fringe one, right? People want to tell me Jimmy Butler's a superstar. He's not. I love Jimmy Butler. I think he's awesome. He's led this team to a finals before. The issue with Jimmy Butler is he's always been the best player on his team, and his teams have never been super successful. Like they're you know, they're pretty good. And again, they made a finals. Shout out. But that team overachieved that season. Now you go get Kyle Lowry. There's a little bit more age to this team. Bam has a couple of years of being an all-star caliber player. Tyler Hero, his role is kind of chiseled out now. And the Heat are the 1 seed with 20 or so games left. How confident are you in the Heat making a run again?
It's I don't know. It's hard to say because I do think you put them at the top now, obviously. But when they run into a team like Chicago, I feel like it can go 50-50 either way. I'm confident about that. 76ers, I feel like they get washed, if anything. If they go up against that.
What about Milwaukee?
Same thing with the Bucks. Think they get washed. If they go up against a healthy net team, I think they get washed. I think they get washed. They handle the Celtics. They probably handle the Cavs.
Yeah, I think the only reason they handled the Cavs is because they play the same way. Just the Heat are more experienced.
I think they go as far as their playoff matchups take them. So,
and you know what that comes down to? I said, you know what that comes down to? There's one team in NBA history that has won a championship without a top 75 player of all time. One. And that is the 2004, is it? 2004 Pistons? I think that's the year they won. Yeah. That's the only team in NBA history without a top 75 player of all time to win a championship. They arguably did have a top 75 player of all time. I don't even think arguably. I think Ben Wallace is a top 75 player of all time. He didn't make the list. Yeah. Should have.
And then the list was wild.
But like, even if they didn't have a top 75, it would have been, you have 76 through 90 players of all time, right? Like the rest of that roster fills in that. So even that's a little skewed.
Yeah.
I don't know. The Heat are curious. Like, Kyle Lowry's kind of old in the tooth a little bit, where he's not that dominant guy anymore. I still think he has great game in him. I love Kyle Lowry. You know I'm a Kyle Lowry truther, always have been. I think that guy, he's a bona fide stud, Hall of Famer. He'll have his number retired in Toronto, and he deserves it. He's an NBA champion. But he's not going to, like, I'm not taking him over DeMar in who's going to take over this game and win me a game. I'm not taking him over Harden or Embiid or even Darius Garland. Certainly not Giannis.
Yeah. And their defense scares me.
Whose defense?
Miami.
They have great defense. Do they not?
They let up a lot of points, though. A lot.
They have. Do they not have the best defense in the league?
I'm looking over
points
here.
Per game. They let up 104 points per game. The best in the East is 102.
They let up
they're third in the East defensively. I like their defense. I love their perimeter defense too. So I actually think their matchup against Chicago is not terrible because of how good the perimeter defense is.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's really weird because defensive teams are so hard to kind of scale because you look at how the Jazz have been over the last couple of years, and like, if Donovan's not putting up 50, they're not winning.
No, sir.
And I really hope the Jazz turn that around one day. Like, I hope this year out of nowhere, the Jazz are like good in the playoffs. Like,
that's the thing.
I want them to win 2 rounds. Get them to the conference final. Let them lose in the conference final. That's fine. Yeah. But get them there.
That's the thing. Always with the Jazz, like, they're so good. They're at the top of the standings every year, and it's just like, okay.
Don't care. I am not putting any stock into Rudy Gobert.
Like,
none.
I'm not expecting anything from you at all. It's like them and the Nuggets. They're the same team.
They're the same team for a million reasons. The Nuggets are different now, though.
Yeah.
Because if the Nuggets, who have been playing very well lately,
8-2 in their last time,
won 6 in a row.
6 in a row.
They have maybe the back-to-back MVP. It's him and Embiid right now. The Nuggets, if they can get Jamal Murray back, and I don't know when he's coming back, and I don't know how that's going to be and how long it's going to take for him to get acclimated and all that. If Jamal can play in the playoffs and plays literally half as well as he did against that Jazz series a couple of years ago, I'll stick with my Nuggets in the finals pick that I did preseason because I think that team is just so talented between Murray and Jokic. And that's the thing. This league is crazy. There's so many great duos. There's so many great duos. I mean, Steph and Clay. Or Wiggins, whichever one you want to say. Chris Paul and Booker.
Before you keep on going, hearing that come out of Drew's mouth, this timeline from the last like 7 years, I never would have thought you had duo and Wiggins in the same thing.
Dude, it's crazy.
It is.
The evolution of Andrew Wiggins' game is insane. And you know, we're not gonna harp on like players changing and developing too much because we call people busts really often because most of the time they are, right? Like, I know you've argued sometimes it's too soon when we call players busts, and I agree with that a little bit. But we've seen these things before, right? We've seen the paintings on the walls. And so are we going to invest more in these guys that have all the signs that they're not going to improve? Or are we going to hope that they're the 1 in 50, right?
No.
Andrew Wiggins is the 1 in 50. I mean, he was the number 1 overall pick, so to call it a success Cinderella story is a little ridiculous, right? Because everybody thought he was the Maple Jordan. And he's not that at all, certainly. But he's turned his career into a productive one. And, another guy like that is DeMar, who DeMar was an offensive powerhouse in Toronto, right? I mean, he was great in Toronto. The only issue he had is he couldn't hit a three. He was just not a good three-point shooter in Toronto. And he failed in the playoffs. And we have still not seen him get over that hump. And I would love to see him get over that hump too. And maybe that's a reason I take a lot of teams over the Bulls, because that's the least proven team maybe in the history of history, because DeMar would smell LeBron in the playoffs and like hide in the bathroom for their series. But he's going to win most improved player, right?
Bro, DeMar,
but
yeah, it's up for debate on that, but man, he is doing his thing this year, bro. And it's so nice to see, because you also hear the story about what's been going on with him during his time in San Antonio, where he was literally flying to LA any off day, sometimes coming back the day of a game and having to play because his dad was sick. So it's like, it's hard to perform under those conditions, man. Like, how do you do that? You can't. Yeah, and I don't care who you are.
It was beginning of pandemic, and like, it wasn't the team he wanted to be on, but he got traded there, so he tried to make the most of it. But there's a lot, like, it can't feel good, and this has been said a million times, right? But how bad does it feel that you get traded from the team that you gave your heart and soul to, and they gave it back for the most part? I think there's a lot of love for DeMar DeRozan in Toronto, from the organization, from the players, from the fans. Like, there was no animosity. But he gave his heart and soul to that team. He really did. And him and Kyle's relationship was like maybe the most special relationship in the NBA, right? Like, friendship-wise, that we've seen. There's probably some off that we don't see, but like the most public one, theirs is like the best friendship we've seen.
Yeah.
He gets traded, they win the championship, and he gets to see his brother, and it's a bittersweet moment. You see your best friend in the world holding that thing that you guys wanted to for so long, and he's in that uniform with another guy that they traded for, and that couldn't have been easy. And so now he's kind of out of that situation. It's a new mindset. Kyle's not in Toronto anymore. I'm sure that helps too. Like, it's a whole new scene out there. He's not associated with anymore. He's with his own team. This is all new, and I think that's nice. Fresh starts are amazing.
And that goes back to the whole too early for a bust thing. Not that this has anything to do with DeMar being a bust at any point of his career, but change of scenery helps a lot. So being stuck in a situation, you won't see that development and growth and mentality really come to fruition for a player. Yeah. Now, they get sent to a different environment, different situation. Maybe it's a little bit better for them. Now they break out of that shell that's been holding them back. Maybe they get a voice in their ear showing them different things. Yeah. Whatever it may be, those are the things that hold players back. And, I mean, you can have the narrative of, oh, you're a professional, this, that, do what you got to do.
But it's not that simple. People. Like, they're people. You're people that you're going to move to cities that, like, you're unfamiliar with, and sometimes you don't click with the team, you don't click with the players, and organization has different ideas. And, I think a good example of that, too, that we're not going to see yet. But I think Marvin Bagley Jr. is going to have a decently productive career the rest of his career. I don't think he's going to be a star. He might not even be a starting caliber player at any point in his career. But he went to Sacramento and at no point wanted to be there. At no point. Like, literally on draft night, he didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
And so he finally gets out of there. He's in, where is he at? I think he's in Detroit now. If I'm not mistaken. I think he's in Detroit. He got traded this season. I don't remember to where. But it doesn't even matter. Like, I think change the scenery for a guy with just crazy talent is just going to help the work ethic, help the mental. The Ben Simmons effect. He's on Detroit, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm happy I remember some stuff. I remember a trade episode, I swear. So, yeah, I mean, it's a little early to call some guys busts, but there's so many that just prove it,
There are.
Frank Ntilikina, we knew was bad. We knew it was bad. There was never a doubt. He was 19 and we're like, I don't care. This kid's not going to be good.
But that's also the eye test. Like, you can look at a player and it's like, okay, they don't have it. Or you can look at them and be like, okay, if they work on this, that,
There's
and
certain
third,
things that you could adjust.
they can make it.
And that's why, stay on the Knicks, like Obi Toppin, like nobody's calling him a bust despite like the weird minutes and like the highs and lows of his kind of performance because he has stuff. Like his shot is getting a lot better and he's showing he has some pretty good IQ and he's getting better defensively. Like there's actual like progress being made in areas that he can get better at. And that's
I just feel like you gotta give people at least a 2 to 3 year window before you even bring up bust. You gotta think these kids are getting drafted at 19, maybe 21. Like, they are young.
How old is RJ Barrett?
Probably like I
think he's 21.
21. So
it took a couple of years. Now he's putting up 46.
You gotta give them time. Not everybody's gonna be a LeBron where they just get drafted and come in and make a fourth.
In fact,
so like you can't expect that. That's why I hate this guy's a bust. It's been 6 weeks. He's just got drafted. What are you talking about?
You remember the first 6 weeks of the year when Cade Cunningham was shooting like 30% and people were like,
"Oh, it's insane."
It's like, dude, come on.
It's insane. Like, give them a minute, please. Just give them a minute. If you start a new job and you don't know what you're doing, or like you're not acclimated to what you're doing, and people are calling you a bust, bruh, give me a minute. Yeah. Let me set in.
And certain positions are a little bit harder, right? It was always going to be easier for Trae Young, Ja Morant, LaMelo Ball to be good in this league because playmakers are playmakers.
Exactly.
Like when you're a playmaker, you see the court differently. That's just how it is. Yeah. And so they were always going to have an easier transition. But if you're Evan Mobley, who, by the way, is having a fantastic transition, and he's better than he ever was in college already, there's transition because you're a big dude that's trying to figure out how to play against actual big guys. I watched the game Evan Mobley played against Oregon. They knocked us out of the tournament, right? Mm-hmm. Evan Mobley was 6.5 inches taller than the highest defender that he had that game. 6.5 inches. And that was our center that fouled out 34 minutes into the game. It was like, I remember watching that. I'm like, this guy's going to be a freak if he puts on 20 pounds. It's just 20 pounds. That's it.
And again, there's the eye test.
yeah, it's a little different. It was always there, and that's why he got. Was he 2nd overall, 3rd overall? That was why, because he's 7 feet tall, can shoot it a little bit, and it's like, oh, there's just KD but taller.
Yeah.
Wow.
You just gotta watch and just look at it, and it's like, okay, they got it.
Yeah, they got it.
They got it, and you can tell it doesn't take much to look at a guy and be like, nah. It
doesn't take much at all. That ain't it, Chief.
You look at me play. Oh, he ain't got it. That's fine. That's fine.
Hey, watch my film. Boy, you basura.
I swear, just a bad game. Nah, yeah.
Bro, you didn't hit the rim.
Like, just give these kids time. That's it. Just let them develop.
Yeah.
Let them develop.
Sometimes.
Again, if it's 7 years into their career, I'm going to slap you if you say let them develop. But now if we're 2-3 years in, and they haven't made any improvement, okay, that's different. Every year they're making improvement, leave it.
Yeah.
They're good.
You know who's pretty funny about that too? This is literally the Ben Simmons argument. Every year we say, if he can just develop a jump shot. Bro, he got drafted in 2014 or 15. He's not developing a jump shot. Like, he could be a productive player without him. He's not developing a jump shot. He's just not. He had JJ Redick on his team and Seth Curry. If they can't teach him how to shoot a 3, nobody can.
Yeah. Wild.
If your last name is Curry, you can learn from him, I swear.
I mean, he got it. He got Curry still there with him. So he got Curry, KD, Joe Harris.
I think if he learns from Kyrie on how to take shots, he's gonna get worse. Because Kyrie's the most confident man of all time.
of all time.
Like
Kyrie puts up some shots, and I'm just like,
stupid.
bro,
they're dumb.
And it goes in. It's like
he shoots like 55%,
right?
and it's like,
yeah,
that's so contested.
Yeah.
Turn around. You're like, whatever. Ben Simmons, if he tries to learn from Kyrie, will become a professional, bag boy at Safeway, because that's just gonna end it. His brain's gonna explode.
Yikes! I don't know where Safeway is, but praying for you guys.
Safeway, it's just a supermarket. It's a supermarket. It's a great supermarket too. Safeway got great sushi.
Is that where are they at?
They're kind of everywhere. There's a lot in California, obviously, in Oregon. They got them out in Washington as well. I think there's some on our coast, just not here in Florida. Yeah, we're just Publixed out. Yeah, we just got too many Publix.
Shout out Publix, Monopoly, baby,
and shout out Safeway, baby.
Big shout out.
We're gonna pivot real quick. We're not gonna talk too much about it because it's not official yet. We do have until midnight in theory. Today is the deadline for the MLB. Today is it. If they don't get a deal done today, the MLB set a deadline that if they don't have a deal done by today, we will officially be missing games in the season. They'll be cutting out games, and it'll be a shortened season. And this is maybe the biggest failure in the sports history. And that comes 2 months after not putting Barry Bonds in the Hall of Fame.
Has already been 2 months?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Crazy.
Again, MLB just continues to let their fans down time and time again. And it's so frustrating, so annoying, and it's just like, do something. Like, why is it so hard to just do the right thing for your sport?
Yeah.
And your players and your fans? Like, why? I don't understand it.
It's bad. And Jeff Passan's been covering this whole thing. He's maybe the best follow on Twitter if you like baseball. So if you like baseball, like, go follow Jeff. He's like the best insider besides like Woj. It's Woj and him, obviously different sports, and Schefter. So those are like the big three.
Schefter when it's not a Brady bomb.
When it's not a Brady bomb, exactly. But Passan...
Sorry, Shefty, if you're watching.
Yeah, sorry. We love you. We love you.
Friend of the pod.
Friend of the whole... Yeah. Something like that. But Jeff put out something pretty much saying, and it was very well said. It was pretty much, if you take the next batch of 1,200 players, because that's how many are in the MLB, if you take the next batch of 1,200 players and you put them into the MLB, the product would get significantly worse. Right? There's no Mike Trout. There's no Soto. These guys that are like actually elite and like must watch aren't going to be there. The quality will go down. If you take 30 random, they don't have to be the next best. If you take 30 random professional businessmen and make them MLB owners, the league is likely going to be as good, maybe better, just because they're replaceable. That's not the product. The owners are not the product, and they swear that they are. They swear that they are.
Nope.
And then, we follow teams. We don't follow owners. I don't care about your margins. None of us care about it. You guys not wanting to pay minor leaguers. You guys not wanting to concede to things that the players want, who are the product. They are the literal product. Sports is crazy. They don't make something and sell it. They are the thing. And when you do stuff like delay seasons, when you do stuff like not let me post something on Twitter because it's a clip from the MLB, when you let players not be able to make stuff outside of their realm, casual fans aren't going to care. And casual fans are the thing that push sports. Like, casual fans are the reason that sports are profitable. Nobody cares about us baseball diehards because there's not enough baseball diehards. You know why there's not enough baseball diehards? Because they do stuff like this that push the casual people away and don't want to get involved because they feel like they're going to get hurt and hurt again by the sport. It's one thing to be hurt by the team, but to be hurt by a sport, as a whole and the governing faction of the sport.
Why would if you have diehards being frustrated and upset and angry at the sport, what are casuals gonna do?
Just walk away.
They're gonna deal with it.
Just gonna walk away. They'll watch basketball. They'll watch the NFL.
They'll go watch cricket. They'll do anything.
They'll put on the Bachelorette. They'll go watch Waifu Ju on Twitch.
Look at that plug.
You know what I'm saying?
Hit 500 followers too, so congrats.
You know what I'm saying? but really, there's so many forms of entertainment. Like there is. I could sit on TikTok for 2 hours. Baseball games.
Go watch cat videos on YouTube, like anything. Yeah. They're not gonna watch baseball. So many people say, "Oh, baseball's boring. Baseball's this." You're not wrong. It's because of the sport of what they do. And they hit a home run. Oh, you're standing there watching it. You're gonna get hit the next at bat.
I got them mad, boys and girls.
Hey,
stupid.
It's so annoying. You do that, you flip a bat, you're done.
There was a really good bat.
The 70-year-old man in Clearwater is gonna be upset, yelling at his TV. Oh, back in my day.
Those damn Yankees.
Like, come on, man.
There was a really good bat flip the other day in college. This kid hit a tank and he pulled out the bat and pulled out the telescope to see how far it went. Bro, I saw that. I was overheated. I
saw a bat flip. He stood there and the home plate ump literally came out from his little cubby and told him to go run. Why?
Bozo.
What are we doing? Bozo. And MLB, why are you gonna bring the mantra of let the kids play and then not let them play? What are we doing? Why are we upset that they're playing the game? What do you want them to do?
Or there is no game to play. We're locked out. There's no reason that we have to be locked out. They're legally still under contract for the last CBA. If the MLB didn't decide that they wanted to enter a lockout and that they wanted to delay games, we could still be at spring training while they're figuring out this new CBA. But the MLB is the group that said we are entering a lockout and we will be losing games. It's on them. And they're the ones who didn't come to the table to discuss for over a month. All of January, they refused to come and negotiate. And now they've been negotiating 15 minutes a day.
Like, what is that going to do?
15 minutes? I take poops longer than that. Catch me after Chipotle.
That boy do be pooping and pooping.
You know, like, how are we going to have meetings for the future of a billion-dollar organization last less time than it takes me in the bathroom?
I swear our spectator meetings last so much longer.
We get stuff done, though.
You're right.
And we're
look
smart.
at us.
We're smart.
And look at us. Talented. They're a multi-million, billion-dollar organization.
Good looking.
So annoying. Just why can't we have just a nice system in place to figure things out so we can have our damn sport and watch some damn sports? Why? Give them what they want. Just do it. Pay the players. Why is that so
difficult? Like actually negotiate. You know, good faith negotiation goes a long way.
Back and forth. Like why?
Goes a long way.
Oh, you guys want this? No. Okay. What can we do to make this work?
No.
Meeting's over.
Sir?
That's it.
Rob?
Like, please.
Yeah, dude.
Don't even get me started on Rob.
This is all from him.
I know, but don't get me started on just
that boy's already hot.
This is on the owners right now. Don't get me started on Rob.
As of this current moment, it's not over. There still is a chance they get something done today. If something happens 5 minutes after this episode comes out, just know all this rage is still true because it doesn't heal anything. So this isn't time sensitive.
It just makes us more frustrated because why are you guys waiting for the last minute?
Bro.
Why?
We all of us love a good comeback story. But this is one of those comeback stories where like you decided you were going to play your little brother in a sport and you gave him the handicap of like a 10-run lead or, you know, a 2-touchdown lead. And then it turns out your little brother's actually good. And now you got to sit up in your chair and sweat for the next 48 in-game minutes just to make the difference up. Like, I don't feel happy that you came back and won. I'm angry that you did. You deserve to lose. And the MLB deserves to lose.
I really wonder what other leagues think looking at the MLB. And when it comes time for their CBAs and stuff, they're like, okay, look at what these idiots did.
Well, the NFL is going to be in that situation, so we'll have this conversation again in 2 years.
The NFL is wild.
The NFL, though, they have the benefit that their players all have concussions, so they don't actually fight for their rights as hard as these guys do. So that's the one benefit that the NFL has. They don't get guys fighting back. Stupid. Really dumb. I've seen posts going around, right? You guys know I'm a Vikings fan. Not to pivot too hard, but people are saying Kirk Cousins should be ashamed of himself for not restructuring his contract to take less money to make the team better this year. When he's the first quarterback to ever get a fully guaranteed contract. Why would he feel bad? He signed his contract. Nobody's ever done that before. He got fully guaranteed. Take your money. I don't love Kirk Cousins. He's fine. Yeah. He's good enough. It's not his fault the defense on this Vikings team has been the worst in the league over the last 2 years. It's not his fault. But, like, why should the player feel bad about the money that he's earned?
No. I don't care how bad of a player you are. I don't care how bad the fans think that you are, the organization thinks you are. If you got that contract, you got that contract. That's your money.
Now, if you are a guy that wants to re-change his contract to try and make a couple million fit so you can get a guy or two, that's cool. That is completely up to you. If you want a ring that desperately, which I don't think it's worth, personally, unless you've been in the league 15 years. Like, if I'm a 15-year vet and I've saved up $150 million, sure, I'll give up that 5 extra to try and win this 1 year, right? But that's not what this is. This is like, hey, we want you to take less so we can give 3 guys a veteran minimum and underpay them also.
Yeah.
So, no, get your money. I'll always be on the player's side with money. I don't care how bad you are. I'm a known Gary Harris hater for his contract, and I'm so happy for the guy.
Yeah, it's not their fault this team was like, oh, I like you. I'm going to give you this money.
Bro, Nicholas Batum got a bag, and for what?
I know you love Tobias Harris's contract.
I like his better than the other 2 I just stated. At least Tobias Harris is actually, like, if 10 players got hurt, he would be in the All-Star game. Maybe 12. Maybe 15.
This is why I bring up that take.
I mean, but he's like a good offensive player. He has good qualities.
Yeah.
There's way worse contracts. I don't know. It's just I'll never feel bad about a player signing a contract because typically the players lose out on their contracts. Juan DeFranco's a great example. In 5 years, that contract's gonna be awful. But he signed it away, and he signed it a lot so that he can guarantee the money and make his bag. And if he doesn't end up being good, maybe Wander knows something we don't. Maybe Wander's like, hey, I'm not actually good at baseball. Let me get this bag real quick. I ain't actually good.
There's a reason Juan Soto turned down, what, 350 million for 13 years, something like that.
Not a single person said he was dumb for doing it either.
There's a reason why he turned that down, for the potential of being the first player in MLB history to have a $500 million contract. There's a reason.
He's going to get like 7. That's the thing. He's not going to get 5. He's going to get like 700.
Oh, there's a reason.
Yeah. It's crazy, dude.
Like, go get your money. If it's out there, go get it. Don't leave it on the table. Especially for these organizations that if it was their turn to make a decision with you, you're gone.
Oh, yeah. Like, I'm not staying for the Nationals at a discount. For what? The Nationals?
No. There's no reason. Just
been to one World Series?
Off the strength of him.
Off the strength of him.
So
he was damn good. He was really good in that playoffs.
So take that for what you want.
Yeah, and this wasn't meant to turn into a rant, but it needed to be because we haven't really talked about the lockout.
No. And
really what comes down to it is the players want a handful of concessions and the league is just not even willing to argue back and negotiate them. And if you're not willing, if you don't respect the people who are the product enough to at least sit down and have a conversation and try and figure something out, I don't know what to think about you. I really don't.
It's kind of just like, oh, we're your boss, so we're gonna have the final decision.
It's like when you ask your parents when you're a kid, why can't I do that? Because I said so. It's not a satisfying answer because it doesn't do anything.
No.
If you give me a fake reason, that's okay, and we have a conversation that's like that, that's fine. You can't say because I said so and then just expect me to go into my room and be like, darn, I guess I can't go. I guess I'll go do my whatever now. We go do next week's homework.
Give me a reason. Yeah, give me a reason so I could know, okay, I can't do it because of this. Let me do that so I could do that next time. Well, whatever it may be. Like, communicate.
It's crazy.
Communicate so we can figure out a plan of action to get the ball moving. But if you don't do that, what are we doing? Like, why would you rather cancel games and potentially miss out on a season? Because you're stubborn.
And that's
selfish.
That's a big thing too. Now that this deadline is about to pass, this was both sides' real gambling chip. Like this was it. So now there's no reason at all for either side to feel rushed to make a deal. Because now if you're the MLB players, like, oh, we're missing games? Cool. We want these things now because we were going to concede so we can get our season in. But if we're going to miss this season, we're going to get these things done. And the MLB is going to think the same way. So we might miss a full season. This is just how it might be. Because I don't think the players are going to bend. I think having social media, I think with having social media, they've made their voices pretty clear. And I think a lot of people, including us, obviously, not that it means anything, but we have their back and we're the people who watch the game and promote the game.
Yeah.
You know how many people just who from watching and listening to us and hearing us talk about it watch baseball more than they would have before? At least 10. That's 10 more fans. There's more than that probably, but like at least 10. You think like I'm sure there's people who are listening right now that are just like, I only know of Juan Soto because you guys have brought him up before. Right? Yeah. So why are we doing a better job than the league?
Because the league doesn't care. They just want their money and that's it. They don't care about the fans. If they cared about the fans, they would do things within the league and outside the league for just content creation, for example. Like you mentioned earlier, you can't even post a clip on Twitter or anything without just having the wrath of Rob Manfred come down.
I saw Fuzzy put a tweet out where he put out a YouTube video that got taken down like 5 minutes in because he had a clip from like a game that he didn't distort the audio and change the pitch. It's crazy that that's kind of what we have to do to bend around it, but you have to filter it, change the pitch of the audio so that we don't get caught.
And the thing is,
why do we have to do that for?
The thing is, we don't use those for a selfish thing. Stuff like that helps the game. Somebody random sees a clip like that, they like it. Oh, that was cool. Maybe I'm going to start watching more clips. Maybe I'm going to turn on a game. Yeah. Guess what? If they don't see that clip, they're not going to do any of that. They're not even going to think twice about doing that because it's not on their radar. So why would they go out of their way to go find that if they don't even know it exists because they're not within the realm of that sport? Your fans are the people that push your content. You have your content, you put it out, but the fans are the ones that push it. The retweets, the shares, all that. That's what gets recycled throughout the internet. And that's what's going to push your game forward. But MLB has no desire to do that. They just want their game to be how it's been for the last 500 years. Please these old people that are going blind, can't even look at their TV anymore, don't even know how to change the channel, try to sign into MLB at bat. They don't even know how to use their phone. They can't do any of it. The screen's all blurry. They don't even know what a bat flip is. They're so mad seeing the thing go up in the air like that. What are we doing, MLB? What are we doing?
I think we just got a little sight into Brooklyn disliking old people. I think that's what we just saw. Not old people, but the unable to access these things, which is kind of funny. Technology is not for everybody, but it should be because it's what we need.
Love the old people. Hate that MLB wants to just cater to the group of old fans who do nothing for the game anymore.
I like the backtracking here. They do literally
no backtracking. No backtracking.
No, and you're kind of right. Like, baseball, the way it was always brought was, hey, you bring your son to the baseball game, bring your family to the baseball game, you have a hot dog, you have a beer, and then you have memories as a kid. Now you like baseball because you have these memories going with your family. And we still have that. That's still a thing. But we're able to access baseball without having to go to the field. So let's recreate those experiences and memories for people for free or close to it. Just, you need to make a Twitter account. I think everybody has one by now. That's cool. And if you do that, where you don't have to spend the money to go to a game, to have these memories, to have these connections, to have these feelings towards a team, player, organization, more people will like the sport and spread it with their family. It's crazy.
Why do you think basketball is so big?
It's fun.
Because you're able to go see somebody get their ankles broken on Twitter. See a buzzer beater. Shaqtin' a Fool. See all that stuff. You're able to see that. And they're still selling out games.
Yeah.
So don't think that content creation is going to take away from your ticket sales. That's going to make people want to go see it in person. Oh, look at that. Let's go. An album drops. They like the song. Nobody's paying for albums anymore. Spotify and Apple Music, you don't really have to do that.
I think that's a great point on that too. Like, I feel like they think it's gonna ruin sales, and it just won't, because people, with that mindset, it's, why would I go to a concert when I have Spotify and I have every song ever made in my hand?
Well, I want to go see the artist live. I want to experience.
Going to concerts is something to do, and people like doing stuff. Yeah.
Oh, why would I want to go to this game? Oh, because Mike Trout is my favorite player. I want to go see him. Oh, because Ja Morant, I want to see him fly through the air and dunk the ball.
Mike Trout is very sick. Ja Morant's also very sick. I would pay to see both of them play.
Like, I want to go to a Bucks game because I don't know if Antonio Brown's going to rip off his shoulder pads. Maybe he's going to throw it in the crowd. Like, that's what people want. Go do it.
It's crazy. But let's not get any more mad. We're going to hop up out of here. So we've hit a nerve, and I enjoy it, and I love it. And if you guys love it, make sure that you like and subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. And if you're on any of the podcasting apps, make sure you're followed and stay tuned with all of our episodes that come out every single Monday. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, @_the spectators. Check out our website. We got vlogs on there. All of our content is on our website. So if you want one central place, thespectatorsports.com is the place you want to be. Tomorrow we have a vlog coming out. I was in New Orleans a couple weeks ago. That is going to be out tomorrow. Cool little vlog. I had a really good time. I was there with my buddies. So go ahead and enjoy that. And I think that's all I got for you guys. So thank you again. I'll let Brooklyn cool off. We'll see you next week.
Peace. Later, everybody.